Hi, my name is Dr. Daniel McQuoid, and I am a licensed psychologist. I've had a clinical practice for over 30 years, and throughout my career, I've continually been looking for ways to treat the whole person, body, mind, soul. This has included using brain SPECT imaging to help identify areas of the brain that are impacting an individual's mental and emotional well-being. Another area, in addition to all the psychological training I've received, I've spent considerable time considering nutrition, exercise, supplements, and their impact on body, mind, and soul. I'm joined today with my colleague Scott Olgren, an author on nutrition, and who has worked in the superfood industry for decades as a formulator and manufacturer, and whose products have been sold in every Whole Foods store across the country. This talk is about a very exciting revolution in human biology that is happening right now and is based on a discovery of a built-in receptor system that we all have in our body. We've had it all along. Babies, children, adults, all of us have had this receptor system. This discovery is having far-reaching effects in the physical and mental health of each of us, as well as having huge implications in our nation's healthcare system. Along with this discovery is a very recent government deregulation, both here and abroad, which have given us the biggest opportunity in our lifetime. For those who can grasp both the significance of this biological revolution, and I say revolution because it is a revolution, and who have become aware that the world of our careers, the way most of us create a living and support our families, has moved. The sand beneath our feet is shifting, and those who recognize this can change and benefit greatly from this information. We'll look first at this newly discovered biological system, then the company and the scientists that have just created a breakthrough quantum leap in this area, and the opportunity that is inherent anytime worldwide government deregulation occurs, how and why you want to get involved.
Great. Thanks, Dan. Okay, so our body systems. Since grade school, we have all known that our body has these different components, such as the nervous system, the immune system, hormone, digestion, and so on. And it would make complete logical sense to believe that science had already fully mapped out all of these systems a long time ago. Well, surprise, because in the last decade, this man here in this slide, his initial work, followed by 10, 15 years of research of hundreds of others around the world, have verified that we humans do in fact have this whole additional system, a hidden receptor system that controls some of the most vital functions in our entire body, and it's called the endo-cannabinoid receptor system. So quite the mouthful. And it's actually made up of millions of receptors that are located in the brain, the spine, and in large amounts in the gut, the uterus, and many other organs. And in fact, it affects so many important aspects of our health that it's actually kind of hard to list them all. So instead, what we're going to suggest is that you go do a simple Google search. And in fact, these two websites that are appearing on this slide are particularly good. And you look up yourself the endo-cannabinoid receptor system.
So here's just a small fraction of what you'll see. This receptor system affects how the brain works, including brain plasticity, better decision-making, memory, depression, anxiety, and lowering inflammation, balancing our appetite and mood, and ability to experience joy and our hormones, and the lessening of pain, and even giving us radically better sleep patterns. Now just pause for a moment and think of the number of people who are dealing with issues related to these 7 areas. Now think of what is overtaxing our healthcare system. Just think of the implications here of what would happen once people started feeding this receptor system just a single idea, such as a world of better functioning brains, and how that would create a better functioning society. And now you can start to see why those who have become aware of this cannabinoid system are calling it a revolution in human biology, because that's what this is. So what is the single most effective way to feed this cannabinoid system? There is no contest. It's hemp oil. Hemp oil contains the highest amount and variety of cannabinoids. by far of anything else in the entire plant kingdom. They have discovered over 130 cannabinoids, but there are just 4 currently that have the most science behind them. And 2 worth mentioning here are CBD, cannabidiol, and CBG, cannabigerol. These 2 are showing to have the biggest impact on this internal receptor system. What you're seeing on the slide here is something called a SPECT scan. SPECT scans show brain blood flow. And since 1994 in my clinical psychology practice, I've used SPECT scans to help thousands of my patients. I do this because brain blood flow is crucial to brain function, healing, and mood, anxiety, depression, OCD, addictions, and so on. It carries everything from oxygen, neurotransmitters, hormones, and so forth. The scans that you're seeing here are called surface view scans. So you're looking at brain blood flow on the surface of the brain. The areas where it looks like a hole in the brain means there is no blood flow in that area. It's as if that part of the brain is shut off. These particular images are before and after SPECT scans of a dear friend and colleague before he started taking small amounts of hemp oil each day, and then 2 weeks later. I've been doing brain scans for over 25 years, and I have never seen anything that has this fast an impact on brain blood flow. This is an amazing example of increased hyperperfusion. I'm the last person on the planet who would ever thought he'd be recommending hemp oil as a form of treatment. But it is results like this that have given me a change of heart, and the reason I decided that I needed to become a part of this hemp education movement.
So when we're talking about hemp oil, it's really important to clear up a few harmful misconceptions that have been around for about 70, 80 years. And the first is that hemp cannot get you high or stoned, even a little bit, no matter how much you take. Instead, hemp oil just makes you healthier, as Dan has been talking about. And the second erroneous misconception or belief is that you need that compound known as THC for these other cannabinoids such as CBD to be effective. And this is patently scientifically proven false. Yes, it really helps to have other cannabinoids as well as terpenes, which we're going to talk about in a second, present in the hemp oil to be really, really effective. And that is now known actually as the entourage effect. However, you definitely do not need that particular compound, THC, for hemp oil to do the positive things that we're going to be reviewing over this next 10 minutes. And now, the third thing I want to just mention here is after 70 years, actually more than 70 years of prohibition, there's entire generations who believe these myths. And for some, it's going to take many years before they finally believe the truths that we're going to be revealing here. But fortunately, the really big news is that after decades of really foolish laws, hemp oil can now be legally shipped and legally used in all 50 states.
And in fact, the world is catching up to this. The United States Food and Drug Administration just announced on their own website the approval of CBD oil. And even well-respected medical spokespeople are finally acknowledging how wrong they were in their earlier assessment towards hemp, and are now talking about its extraordinary effects on human health.
Correct. And this awareness is having an extraordinary impact on hemp oil throughout the world through government deregulation. Canada just did the same thing. So did Mexico. In fact, a little side story, the wife of the Japanese prime minister recently and very publicly purchased some CBD, and now it's legal there, and now everyone there in Japan wants it. And the same thing is happening in China, Taiwan, Thailand. The point is this is a worldwide cultural shift and health movement, and it's all backed by science that shows these results.
So once people understand all of this, how do they choose the best hemp oil out there? When you line up the top most respected hemp oils out there, as you're doing in this slide, which product is the absolute best in every important category? Let's take a look. Here are the top selling hemp oils.
Yeah, and in that checklist, the first thing, as you will see, that is most important is something called bioavailability, which means the amount of active ingredients in each oil that actually gets absorbed into blood plasma. Bioavailability simply means that you can have a product that has 1,000 milligrams, really of anything, of any supplement, anything at all. It could be something like calcium or vitamin D, but if only 100 milligrams, 10%, gets absorbed, that means you've only got 10% bioavailability. And that means 90% of it is being wasted and passed through the body. This next section here shows the number of important cannabinoids that are present and measured and show up in each of these products that you see along the top of the screen through certificate of analysis. And these four, CBD, CBG, CBDV, and CBC, are considered the most important, and they're also got the most research behind them. And then this last section here shows the number of terpenes that are measurable, again, through that same certificate of analysis. And that last row underneath that shows if there is, in fact, any THC present in each of these hemp oils. So to complete this slide, once you review all of these important categories, the best hemp oil currently on the market is the one that was, in fact, just invented. And it's this formula called Recept. And it's by a company called Prime My Body.
Recept is the gold standard in the world's hemp oils at the moment. And it holds this position first because it has the highest bioavailability by a long shot. In fact, if you look at the absorption of all the 130 cannabinoids in hemp, they all have a similar absorption, and that is around 10%. There's a range from 3% to 20%, depending on the delivery system. But you'll see that all the studies show that the standard absorption averages are around 10%. With Prime My Body's hemp oil, it's over 85%. That is a huge jump in absorption levels, and this is because of the use of liposomal or nanotechnology. Liposomal is a process which makes the compounds so small, under 100 nanometers, that they can absorb directly under the tongue. But why is Recept such a breakthrough in bioavailability? It's because they're using a technology called sonicated liposomal delivery. They had to create a multi-million-dollar lab to accomplish this, but it allows for an even smaller size with an average of 20 nanometers. That is so tiny. This not only increases bioavailability, but it makes absorption much faster. No other hemp oil in the world does this. In a study recently done, they had subjects take a non-liposomal hemp oil and then measured how much its CBD actually made it into their plasma. Over a 2-hour period, here's what it looked like. Then they had this same group of people use the same amount of liposomal Prime My Body's hemp oil. Look at the difference. Over 5 times as much got into their bloodstream, and at a much faster rate.
Yeah, they also did another test that showed that if you centrifuge most liposomal formulas, the compounds actually separate out, just like a salad dressing, which means they've lost that nano absorption property. But if you centrifuge Prime My Body's formula, it stays in liposomal form, which proves that it's a better absorption, and it also just improves their superior manufacturing processes.
Yeah, this is so amazing. The third reason is its broad spectrum of both cannabinoids and terpenes. Recept has 4 measured amounts of the most clinically important cannabinoids: CBD, CBDV, CBG, and CBC. In fact, it has 30 milligrams of the CBG, which is one of the most expensive compounds right now in hemp. This is the most of any hemp oil worldwide. They also have 7 measurable terpenes. I won't say all their names here, but definitely Google the one called beta-caryophyllene. Its benefits alone will make you want to try this oil.
Okay, the last reason for Recept being the gold standard of hemp oils is actually one that I like a lot, and it's pricing. And as we mentioned earlier, the most important criteria is not the total milligrams, it's the absorbable milligrams. It's what you actually absorb and versus what you pass through. And if you look at the price of hemp oils, I'm just going to point out a couple of them. This top selling CBD formula here out there, it's $249 for 50 milliliters. Here's another one, a very well-known one. It's $149 for 30 milliliters. Now, these are both very high-quality companies and high-quality products, and they've got great reputations. But they both have that non-liposomal formula, so they've got that much lower absorption. Prime My Body's formula is 50 milliliters for $89 with 500 milligrams of the highest absorption CBD and other cannabinoids in the world. And on top of that, as Dan was saying, it's got that 30 additional milligrams just alone of that CBG. This is groundbreaking price and groundbreaking technology. And for many people, that's the end of the conversation. You know, you're just going to want to go out, get a bottle from us, and try it out. One small dropper, 1 milliliter in the morning, 1 milliliter in the afternoon. That's it. You hold it under your tongue for maybe 30 seconds and write us back in a couple of weeks and tell us the results. However, part of this slide presentation we want to do is we want to show another advantage of Prime My Body, and it is that they offer these wholesale prices to anyone who becomes an affiliate. And in doing so, the price of each bottle drops to like $78 and even lower once they become an educator and letting others know.
Thanks, Scott. A last list of details. It's organically grown using only American-sourced hemp. It is a proprietary formula created in our own labs. Sonicated nanotechnology is a far superior method for processing than anything else out there. It drops the particle size down to an average of 20 nanometers, making it the fastest, most effective hemp oil in the world. Zero THC. That's really key. Zero ethanol. Both very important for athletes and anyone who has to deal with drug testing at work. So it won't show up on any drug tests at all. Broad spectrum for the full entourage effect. 30 milligrams of the CBG, more than any other oil, organic, peppermint, kosher, halal, soy-free, and non-GMO, and all at an extraordinary groundbreaking price. It really is in a class by itself. Other oils aren't even in the same conversation.
Okay, so what's the next step? So if you do just want to try out a bottle and see what the results are yourself, contact us and we'll ship you out a bottle or come on by. But our suggestion is to do the same thing that Dan and I have done. We've become hemp educators because becoming part of this global health movement is a revolution that's going on, and it helps a lot of people while you have a chance to vastly, kind of expand your own career path, which is what we're doing. And if that really sparks your interest or you want to ask us more questions about it, definitely do it. Join our team. The steps are pretty easy. You sign up. It's $39 fee to get going. Get a starter pack. It's going to give you 3 bottles for free, which is great. That's going to give you about 2 months supply. And then you've got some other bottles to share with others at your wholesale price. Others really need to know about this particular oil, and it's all about getting it out to people as easily as possible. And then the next step really is to call us and set up a one-on-one conversation. We'll answer any questions that you've got, plus show you some of the phenomenal results that we're seeing with the oil, some of the financial results that we're already seeing by becoming these hemp educators and being a part of this Prime My Body team. And most excitedly and most interesting for you is that we'll immediately get you going into our Getting Started System training. This is no small thing. Between us, we've got decades of experience of teaching and business and doing this. We've written books, we've been keynote speakers, and we've spent thousands of hours successfully showing people how to succeed. So that's what the next steps are.
The timing for this could not be better. As any successful entrepreneur will tell you, timing is everything. After 70 years of worldwide prohibition, the U.S. just passed a historic Farm Bill Act. Worldwide government deregulation is quickly following. In 2018, in the U.S. alone, hemp sales were $590 million. By 2022, sales are projected to reach $22 billion. And the fact is, people are looking for what hemp oil offers. The endo-cannabinoid receptor system is a very big solution to some very big challenges. Educators and communicators and spokespeople are needed. And out of every company that exists out there, this is the perfect home. Prime My Body's Recept is the best in the world, and they are rapidly expanding into other countries. This is the perfect time and the perfect company.
Yeah, now one of the things that throws people off about this international, expansion is a lot of people think, well, I don't know anybody in Japan or Australia or Hong Kong. But that's the really great thing. You don't need to, because of the power of this affiliate marketing structure that they have set up. You don't need to know anybody out overseas in order to create a team there, because someone you introduce Recept to here will introduce it to somebody else, and then somebody else, and then somebody else. And all of a sudden, one of those people knows somebody in Japan or Hong Kong or Taiwan. And suddenly, within a few weeks, you've got a team in Taiwan, and it's growing to 20, and then 50, and then 80, and then 150, and then 200. I'm telling you, this is real because it's already happening to Dan and myself. You really can leverage the power of the internet finally and become, out of your own home, out of your own little home office there, an international business person. It's pretty phenomenal.
So some closing thoughts. This internal cannabinoid receptor system of ours is real, and its discovery will change history. Prime My Body is the best in its class. They have the most clinically relevant hemp oil with proven data. Others are dealing in that 10% range. They're not even in the conversation. We are about to go global, and we ordinary people working together as a team from each of our homes using simple tools like this can change the lives of thousands of others. If you just want to share with your friends, we'll show you how to do that. If you want to make an extra $300 a week, we'll show you how to do that. And if you're like us and want to build an empire and be one of those six-figure income earners in the next 18 months, we will definitely show you how to do that. Contact us with any questions. Thanks for watching.